All right, with this, I think I'm just really happy to have our next speaker joining. I mean, I had the privilege to be working with Cassie as well. And Cassie is incredibly creative, incredibly amazing, incredibly incredible in so many different ways. And I'm so happy to just see this kindness and happiness and enthusiasm, I guess, also around the web, just here. So Cassie, come over. Cassie, everyone.
Hi.
So one important thing for you to know is that Cassie has a wonderful dog.
I do. His name is Brody.
Brody is quite a character, I would say.
He sings on command, which is good. He has favorite songs as well. He really likes Evanescence, which is quite cool.
It's very opinionated, I would say.
Yeah, he's a little bit goth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would do really well at karaoke night yesterday, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Right, well, Cassie, 2 jokes.
Okay. Are they dog-related?
Yeah, they're dog-related as a dedication in here. This is, you know how much time it takes, you have no idea, really. Okay, so, Cassie. Why did the dog cross the road?
To get to the barking lot.
Pretty good, huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's like way better than anything I've written before. Oh, fantastic. Okay, another one. Cassie.
Uh-huh.
What do you call a dog magician?
A labracadabrador.
Okay. Sorry, Cassie. Sorry. Yeah. But don't worry, there will be no more dog jokes, although who knows? Maybe there will be, we don't know.
Maybe.
But today, you should be expecting the unexpected, maybe even a game or something, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I mean, the title of the talk is Game On, so without giving too much away, please give a warm round of applause to Cassie Evans.
Hello, everyone. Before I begin, just a little heads up that there will be lots of motion in this talk and potentially a little bit of parallax as well. So if you're a person that has motion sensitivity, maybe just sit this one out. You can go listen to me from the wallpaper room if you really want. So it's really lovely to be back at Smashing. Other than being a pretty smashing conference full of very smashing people, I actually owe a lot of my current career to Smashing. So back during the COVID lockdown era, I ran this little online workshop on SVG animation. And I used my favorite animation library, GSAP, for this workshop. These are some of the things that people made. That giraffe actually is one of my favorites. The guy in my workshop, his daughter actually made it out of cardboard in preschool. And then he took it and digitized it and then animated it in my workshop. But yeah, so I did this workshop on SVG animation, and the code author at GSAP saw the workshop, and I ended up getting a job there. So I now work at GSAP teaching people about web animation, making the platform better, making lots of fun demos, doing documentation, all of that lovely stuff. So GSAP is an animation library, stands for Green Sock Animation Platform. I know why, I'm not going to tell you. If you want to know why, you can come and find me afterwards. But it's been around for a long time. I've talked to a couple of people here about their memories of using GSAP back when it was a tweening library for ActionScript. Was anyone around during the Flash era? Yeah, amazing. How many of you used GSAP back in the Flash era? There's a decent amount of people, awesome. So I found this on Wayback Machine today, and this bit made me laugh. I like the deadlines are looming. You've got to deliver a Swift that looks amazing. But I also really like the bit that said, HTML5 is an evolving standard that promises some exciting capabilities, but is most definitely not a Flash killer. That didn't age well. But yeah, GSAP's been around since this time, and it's been evolving, and we've been learning from what animators want from an animation library for a really long time now. So it's very robust, very feature-packed, very reliable. It just kind of has the things that you need. I found quite a lot of times I run into a problem, and I'm like, oh, this is I've got to be the first person that's encountered this. And then I look, and there's something in the library for that particular problem. So, yeah. Oh, this is when I was going to say that I joined the GSAP team. Hooray, I already said that. Yeah, now because it's my job, and I spend every day kind of teaching people how to use GSAP and writing documentation and making demos and throwing workshops and all of that sort of thing. When I got asked to give another talk at Smashing, I sat down and I had nothing. I was like, oh, I do this all the time, and I'm really struggling to find something I'm excited about. And Gemma was talking about flow state earlier. I had the opposite of flow state. I was just kind of paralyzed, trying to think of something to structure the talk around, because I had loads of demos and I had loads of bits of the animation library that I wanted to show off. But a good talk is more than just code snippets and demos. Like, a good talk's got to have a narrative structure. It's got to have some sort of flow, some sort of story. And I had no story. So I did what I usually do when I can't figure out some work, or I'm stuck on a problem, or I'm not interested in something. I procrastinated. So I sat down and I played my favorite game at the moment, Dave the Diver, where you get to be a little chubby diver lad, and you float around in the sea, and you catch fish, and you go on adventures. And it was while I was catching fish for my sushi restaurant at the bottom of the big blue trench that I was like, wait a second. A game is just a bunch of animations tied together with a narrative, right? That's basically a talk. No one would notice if I just made a game instead of a talk. And because I have ADHD, that was the only thing that I could do after I had that idea, which brings us here today, now, where I have a game instead of a talk. So I didn't say it was a good game. We're going to use this game as a narrative structure and kind of a way to explore some little bits and pieces that I think are fun and exciting from the library that I love. So, yeah, all right, let's do this. I don't know whether you have the concept of pantomimes in Germany, but in England we have pantomimes, and a really common trope is that things go wrong and the audience has to shout out, "He's behind you," and stuff. So if I miss a semicolon or something, you can just be like, "You missed a semicolon," like a pantomime, and it'll all be great. So let's just go over to our little game. If I can find my cursor. It's behind me, yeah. Good job. So, this is my game. Not very exciting right now. So I didn't use... oh, I've got this funny little notification at the bottom. Oop. Can you see it? How odd. Oh, and I can't find my cursor. My cursor really is behind me now. Hey, there we go. Okay, half of the talk is going to be me trying to find my cursor, which is really exciting. So, for the game, GSAP is just a JavaScript animation library. It's like vanilla JS is made to just work anywhere. You can kind of use it in whatever framework you like React or Angular or Vue, or you can just use it the way that I like in lovely, like, vanilla JavaScript, HTML, CSS. And our tagline is animate anything. So by that, we mean you can animate HTML elements, you can animate CSS properties, you can animate SVG, you can animate just generic numbers in objects, like with Canvas or Three.js. But I personally have only really played around with using GSAP in HTML and SVG land. I'm not really a Canvas person. I knew it was possible, so I thought for this game, I'm going to use Canvas. I'm just going to do a thing for the first time for a talk. So this is what we've got right now. The little white bit is our person. We've got some little platforms. You can jump on them. Hey, you can double jump. Very exciting. You can jump off things. And you can even fall off the universe and then get respawned at the beginning of the game. So this, it looks like animation, but actually it's not animation, not really. I'm not using GSAP for this, because what GSAP does is you give GSAP some properties and you say, I want you to animate to these properties over this period of time. It's called tweening. It's what animators who did hand-drawn animation called it. It stands for like in-betweening. So in GSAP land, GSAP handles all the in-between stuff for you. But right now, because we're using Canvas, we actually aren't using GSAP to animate because Canvas is just updating for us on every single frame. I'm going to hide this away. Can you see the code enough? I'm going to zoom out so that I can find the bits, and then I'll zoom back in again. So basically, what's happening in Canvas land is we've got like a draw function. This is our init. We've got all of our bits and bobs in here. And then at the end of that, we are saying to the GSAP ticker, which is like the heartbeat of the GSAP animation engine, we're saying, hey, GSAP, can you update the positions for us on every tick? And then that function, which I will not open, I will not subject you to that. It is just updating all the positions of all our little Canvas objects, but every single time the GSAP engine ticks over. There's no tweening involved in that. It's basically just redrawing a new thing every single time it runs. So let me just quickly here. You can see at the beginning of this function, we're saying, draw a blank rectangle on the canvas. And then after we've drawn a blank rectangle, that kind of clears everything. And then we redraw all of the next positions of everything in our loop. So if we were to get rid of this, and we're not clearing our canvas, we suddenly end up with all of this, where every single movement we make is drawn on the canvas. I have no idea where I am anymore. But it's not being cleared on every single frame. So although it looks like animation, it's just like a series of individual pictures, kind of like hand-drawn animation. So yeah, let's sort that out. And then all we're doing really is we've got a bunch of like key down and key up events. And on those, I'm just logging what state I want the player to be in and adjusting the position of things. And then in the update positions function, we're kind of updating everything. So that's a game, but it's not really a very fun game. Where is our game? Hey, we're back again. Like, you could play this, but there's not really any, it's not really any danger or anything interesting going on currently. So the first thing that we need to add is something that introduces some sort of danger. So let's go to our little constants. You'll see why it's Trello count in a minute. So we're just going to add some danger. So right now, we've got these little red boxes which are now moving around. Sometimes they fall off the edge of the world themselves, which is quite cool. Whoop. Bye, buddy. But if we have a collision with them, you can see that the player state turns red. I'm actually using GSAP for this, which is really fun. GSAP's got a library called Draggable. And Draggable, you can move, you can make any element you want draggable. And there's a utility in there called hit test. And you can basically say, are these elements overlapping? And at first, I thought I couldn't use Draggable because it's set up for DOM elements. But actually, if all of your elements have a position, X and Y, and a width and height that's the same shape as DOM elements, you can actually use it for JavaScript objects as well. So I am just checking the positions, and then, we've overlapped with a little Trello. So yeah, that's our collision detection. And, he's going to fall off again. Our collision detection and our platforms and our little enemies. So another fun thing that I set up is that our platforms, I wanted some of them to be able to block the character, so some you can walk past and some you can't walk past. So I added a little setting for the collision detection where it checks if it's colliding and if it is either stops your character or allows your character to carry on going past. I think those are the right ones. Let's have a little look. So now it's blocking. So we can't walk any further, and we have to jump up on top. So yeah, that's the basic game logic that we've got here at the moment. But not very fun. So we need a little bit of design. I'm not a designer, and I'm also not a game developer, so I'm setting expectations here. But I had a lot of fun learning how to do pixel art for this. So we've got a little player. Let's show our little player, and then go back. It's me! Slightly bouffant hair. So now we've got a little character. And in the key press events, I'm checking left and right and up and down and swapping out sprite sheets. But you'll notice that actually, although there's a little image now, it's not actually animating. It's changing when I press the key down, but it's not really animating right now. It's just a static image. And we can do that with GSAP. So we're going to do our first little GSAP tween. So if we go over to our player, let's look at our idle animation. I'll set this to be a little bit longer so we can see. And we'll say ease none. So this is our first little GSAP tween. Hide this as well. And that's pretty much the shape of all GSAP tweens. And a GSAP tween is just one animation in GSAP land. And that's saying, animate this, the object this, the frames to frame number 5 over a duration of 10 seconds with no ease, repeat it infinitely, and then yo-yo the animation. And yo-yo is repeat, but go back the other direction, like a yo-yo, rather than repeat and start from the beginning again. So if we save this, and then I keep going the wrong way, sorry about this, and then take a little look at our character, you can see the sprite sheet now. So the sprite sheet is moving between frames. It doesn't look like a sprite sheet should, though, right now. And that is because of the ease. So we've got no ease on it. It's just starting from the beginning, and it's going all the way to the end over a duration of 10 seconds. So what we can do is we can do an ease of steps, and then set the number of steps. And this is a stepped ease. And this is one of the first tricks that I try and get across to people when I'm teaching them about animation. Most newbies, when they're animating, they will set up an animation, a singular animation, to do every single visual step of what they are trying to achieve. Whereas actually easing can do the heavy lifting for you. It can do so much of the work for you. You can use like a rough ease that shakes something around rather than writing loads and loads of individual keyframes. Or like this, you can use a stepped ease that has 5 different steps in it rather than actually explicitly saying, I want to animate to this point, and then this point, and then this point. So if we save this, and we go back again, can now see that we've got a little, oh, it's duration of 10 seconds, isn't it? Let's go back down. Yeah, so we've got a little idle animation now. Awesome. Character is waiting around for stuff to get interesting, just like you. We'll do the same with our little run animation here. I think I've commented in most of the other ones. But the run animation, it's doing exactly the same thing. We've got 7 frames on this one, and we've got 7 steps. And then this is, this is my state management. I did get to the end of the game, and I was like, could have used a state management library for this, couldn't I, Cassie? That would have been a good plan. You're not seeing any, Jake's like, it's fine. You're not seeing any of the messy logic that's above it. But yeah, it's quite tricky when you're doing game states, because you usually want some of them to override other ones. Like, if your character is like running and then gets damage, you want the damage to win. If they die, you want the die to always win. And if you try and jump halfway through dying, you don't want them to start jumping around. So you kind of got to manage that quite precisely, which I only realized after I started getting lots of bugs. So let's have a little look at our character now. Okay, we've got a little idle state, and we've got a little run state. Running, running, jumping, jumping, landing, jumping, jumping, dying. Excellent. Getting somewhere. Brilliant. Let's add a little bit more interesting stuff here. So we have got our player. Let's show the rest of the sprites. So I've shown you how to set up a sprite for like one of the players. We're just going to set up the sprites for the rest of them now. Hooray! So you probably understand why the Trellos are the enemy. While I was making this game, I was also struggling with quite a large workload. So I decided that I would do a little back-to-office themed game where the little character is struggling with her workload. Added a bunch of your little quotes as well from psychic damage. So yeah, all right, we've got little Trellos, we can jump around, we've got little cubicles, we can bounce on the cubicles. We're getting there, but we need to be able to kill our little Trellos, don't we? So let's sort this out. I'm going to make the platforms non-blocking while I'm doing this game, because this is annoying. Let's go back. We're going to say false. I think it's fair enough to make the game easy mode if you're actually making it in front of people. I think that's okay. We want like lowest difficulty level possible. Block. Wait. Oh no, we want the floor to block. We definitely want the floor to block, don't we? Otherwise, we'll just fall through the floor. Okay, we want the cubicles not to block, but we definitely want the floor to block us. It's very important that the floor blocks us. Let's have another little look. Right, we should be able to run past them. Excellent. Okay, I don't like that these Trellos are inflicting psychic damage on me, though. We need to be able to kill the Trellos. So let's go back to our little Trello function. And we've got the same kind of thing, little draw function that's controlling the velocity and how much they can walk back and forth. Let's find them in here. Trellos. Oh dear, don't look at the bad stuff. There we go. This is the good bit. So another thing that you have in the GSAP library that I absolutely love are utility functions. And utility functions, there's all sorts of ones. Random is the one that I use the most, but there's also like wrap and clamp. And when you start animating things, you realize that a large part of animating stuff on the web is just like dealing with number values and trying to squish number values into the number values that you want for the animation. So with random, you can either say, quite simply, choose a random number between 400 and 4,500, or the velocity that's picking one out of an array, so one of either one of those values. So you can do controlled randomness as well. So we could change this, for instance, to -5 and 5. And this is the x velocity of our Trellos. Oh, there they are. They're really fast now. That's quite scary. So yeah, we can change the x velocity. I think we'll just keep it nice and easy mode for now. Excellent. And then if we go into our little Trello function, we've got the die bit, which is what we want to sort out here. So when we squash the Trello, when we jump on top of it, this little function is going to run. This is another fun thing in the GSAP library is physics 2D. So there are loads of plugins, like extra little bits that you can add into GSAP that do different things, like scroll animation, text animation, or simple things like physics 2D, which just gives you the ability to animate with like velocity and gravity and stuff rather than just normal tweening. So we've set this up. The velocity is like how much it animates, and then angle is like which direction, and then the gravity is like how hard it falls afterwards. So let's have a little look now. Where are you? Where are you, Trellos? Hey! Excellent. And you see they bounce off in different directions now as well. Whoop. Hey, got it. Oh no, yeah. Wonderful, so that's using physics. And we could, if we make this like 2,000 and 4,000, you'll see, how many Trellos have we got? We've only got 2, we can make this better. Let's make 10 of them, 10 Trellos. So now, oh, mega velocity, off. Oh no, died. Oh dear. So you can just play around with numbers like that, and you can just get some really, really fun results really quickly. I'm just going to change that back again because that was a little bit insane. Let's go back down to like 1,000. Excellent. So we've killed our Trellos. How much time have we got left? All right. Let's just add a few more fun bits in. Get your phones out quickly as well, because I'm going to get you to vote on things. I'm going to add in some fun bits while you get your phone out. We've got a little platforms. We're going to add our printer. We're going to add a desk. We're going to add a coffee machine. We're going to add a little elevator. Speeding through. All right, we've got a little elevator. We arrived at work in the elevator. We've got Trellos to kill. Excellent. We have also got a printer, because I thought work is not work unless you have some pointless admin tasks to complete. So I thought we need to complete some pointless admin tasks. So we've got this printer. The printer is set up in a similar way, but when you connect with the printer, we are printing loads of papers. So in this, we're creating some paper with Canvas, pushing them into an array, and then with GSAP, we are going to do a little animation again. We were using Physics 2D. We'll use Physics 2D again. Go on. Use Physics 2D. Oh, no. Let's go grab it from the Trello. Excellent. So that should do a little paper animation. Let's go back. Oh, I love that. So satisfying. Oh, no. Oh! It worked. It was a little much. Let's put this down. Oh, yeah, thank you. 500. Oh, it's really annoying. I had a little snippet here. My Clippy's not working. Sad. Well, let's have a little look. We've got our papers. All of it is printing. Oh, no. What's happened? It's always the printers that break things, isn't it? We can't get technology right. Tech check. Well, at least I didn't break anything. Hey, you're back again. Why am I seeing that?
Yeah, it's connected to us. It's fine.
They can't see it. I think that's it. Yeah. Whee! Okay, we're working again. Let's see if our printer is working. Hey, it's kind of working, but not really, and that's fine. We will just move on, and we will take a little look at our coffee machine. So let's do our little constants. We're going to do showing some stats. Excellent. And then I'm going to do this little Slido. So we've got a few minutes left. Everyone get on the Slido. Right, we've got 2 questions. Choose a power-up. Choose wisely. This is something that's going to help you get through your workday. Is it a SmashingConf ticket? Is it ChatGPT? Or is it a clever coworker? It's closed. Oh. Is it open? Oh. Amanda's going to help me. Why is it? Is it working? Yay, okay, cool. Technology. Clever coworker is looking like the winner. All right, I'm calling it. It's clever coworker. All right, so we are going to set our power up to be coworker. And then in here, we are going to find the little coworker. I'm going to give him a little uncomment, or her, gender neutral coworker. Let's go back into our game. All right, that is a lot of Trello tickets. I think I made this possibly a little bit too complicated for myself. Oh dear, there he is. It's going to save the day. Will you help us? I don't have any audio right now. Is there any chance I could get some audio? Is it off? Okay, I'll see if I can. Maybe it's me. Is it in my. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let's get some help from our coworker.
Far apart.
Fixing something that is broken.
They're, thanks to Toby, these are little snippets from the talks earlier on.
Hooked up to the dashboard.
Fixing something that is broken.
Life is good. Achieving that balance.
They don't know what to expect.
Excellent. Okay, so we've got our little coworker in there. Let's just make sure that we are updating the stats. So I actually think that talking to a coworker should make you a little bit tired because I'm an introvert. But then it's going to help you with your admin. So let's go find. Oh dear. There's too many Trello tickets. Why did I do this?
We are Phil Collins.
Amazing. Okay, we need one more Slido. I'm sorry, I'm over time, folks. So we're gonna do this really quickly. The last Slido is choosing an enemy. Right, enemy. Is it a date picker? Is it AI or is it Safari? Oh, it's close. Date picker. Fair enough. Very topical. Okay, so let's go. We're going to change this to date. We're going to get rid of some of the Trellos because goodness me, it's too many. The backlog has got a bit intense. And then in our canvas, I'm not going to talk this through because there's not enough time, but we're going to spawn some enemies. We're spawning them at random intervals at the top of the screen, and then they're just going to fall in. So now we are going to, the Trellos are enemies. Where are our enemies? I'm a little bit scared now. Oh no. We can also drink coffee if we're getting a little bit tired. Excellent. So I think those are all the bits that I wanted to add. I was talking a little bit about how it was complicated with the player state. I didn't do state management very well. It also led to what I think is the most relatable bug, where when you try and hand in your work before you've completed all of your Trello tickets, the sprite sheet for death doesn't go away. So I'm going to end on this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. We can just keep it going.
It's wonderful. I think we need to make it a business product.
You
Yeah.
haven't seen it working, and it's no. We need to polish it up a little bit first.
That's okay. That's okay. But every time I look at the wonderful things, like we always are so possessed by this idea of being more efficient and being more productive and being more, faster and in processes and all of that. And I think that, the thing that really got me very excited about the web back in the day is this notion of just playing. Mm-hmm. Like literally just being, creating something just to create something, not for the purpose, like the big purpose or to complete the task or anything like that, or measuring the time to success or anything like that, but just playing. And I'm wondering, like in this messy world in which we're living, I guess, where does playing fit in?
I am a big fan of play, mostly. The Trellos are still, sorry. Yeah. I'm a big fan of playing. I feel like, I think it's probably to do with having ADHD, but if I'm not having fun or I'm not interested, I can't learn. And I learn the best through playing and experimenting and building things. Like, this was just a fun little game to make for a conference, but I actually, hadn't really structured JavaScript with classes before. That's not, the way that I structure my JavaScript, and, it was a fun experiment into kind of writing JavaScript in a different way. And I learned a lot of things. It was good fun. Yeah. It is hard to fit in, though. I agree.
Yeah, I think it's just also a matter of sometimes we need to do, as we had conversations about at the conference, sometimes you have situations where things are suboptimal, we need to help people recover, and sometimes there is this moment of celebration too. And when there is a moment of celebration, be it, I don't know, deposit to a bank account or successful transfer or anything of that kind, then there is the opportunity to really do something extra to, I guess, playfulness or so. Because I think at this point also many brands cannot afford to be neutral. They kind of take a stand there, be it politics or be it playfulness or be it opinion and things like that. And maybe this is just the time to do that, because I think, again, when I look at AI, I don't feel any of that joy that I had now.
I think I get asked a lot about where animation fits in websites, and I think a lot of people that are very anti-animation on the web are actually, they have the same opinion as me, and they don't like bad animation in places where there shouldn't be animation. Everyone has tried to access some information on a site that's scrolling all of the text in really slowly, and you can't read anything, and you're just trying to find the address of a venue or something. And I think that you shouldn't really be animating in those cases, but there's so many opportunities for bringing personality into websites through animation and through motion that, like you say, in a world full of AI-made things, it's nice to have little human touches here and there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like having I'm Phil Collins everywhere would be nice.
Yeah. Every website you like.
Every website you have it, yeah. Tom is wondering, can we have the code on GitHub to see how it's built, please?
Yes. Yeah, I will. I'll put it on GitHub. It's a mess. But you're welcome to have a look and play with it and stuff. The fun thing about making stuff that isn't, doesn't need to be made for production is, for instance, that game, I didn't make it responsive because I didn't need to, because it's talk, so it's just going to be on one screen, and you don't have to worry about the normal things that you'd have to worry about with a website that you're putting out for customers. So it gives you a little bit more freedom to kind of play around and experiment and learn things. Good.
And if you want to do something like this, just to enjoy it as a little side project or so, but you maybe happen to be less on the coding side of things and more on the design side of things or any other side, how would you say, or what would you say would be a good way to start without being...
Am I allowed to shill something?
Yeah, sure.
So GSAP got acquired. We got acquired about a year ago now by Webflow, and we've been, GSAP, the JavaScript library, is like open for everyone on the wider web, and we're still working on that, but we're also like working with the Webflow team on building a visual animation builder inside Webflow. So if you want to play around with that, that's like, yeah, a fun way. It's very one-on-one to GSAP properties, so you can kind of learn some of the syntax and like how things work through a visual interface, and then you could kind of take that over to GSAP. But I mean, I had a background in motion design, and I was kind of trying to learn how to code, and I found it really complicated because all of the tutorials were like fizzbuzz and logging stuff out to the console, and I didn't really understand why JavaScript existed. I still don't really understand why JavaScript exists, but it's here, and it's fun to play with, and GSAP really helped me kind of get used to like how JavaScript worked, but in like a fun visual way by moving things around on a screen.
I think also very often when it comes to motion, animation, transitions, it seems to be a bit difficult to document it. So if you do, let's say, play, and then there's a handoff moment, and then developers have to, or an engineering team is just implementing it. What would be a good way, I guess, to document and maintain animation over time so it's more consistent, I guess?
That's a really big question. That was like a whole workshop in itself. That's why things like Rive and Lottie and Spline and stuff exist. I have opinions. Some of them can be very bad for performance, because I think what you lose when you don't do the human handing off between a designer and a developer, or the human exchange of knowledge, is you kind of hand that over to the tooling, and then the tooling does stuff for you, but then performance suffers and file size suffers and that kind of thing. But they exist. I always think the best way to do that is just talking to each other, writing comments, design systems.
Design systems, I think, yeah, heard that. Also, you mentioned in the beginning about accessibility of motion, and I think that very often we think that, well, it's either motion or we turn off motion altogether. And sometimes you see this sort of in between. I think it was Carbon Design System where they introduced this notion in between, when they have this intermediate state where you have more subtle animations, more subtle transitions that you can still toggle off if you need to, if you want to, right? How do you find that balance where it's, we go animation, but then we also want to be respectful of people who prefer reduced motion?
That's one of my favorite questions, actually, because before I worked for GSAP, I rolled my own setup for reduced motion. And as soon as I started working at GSAP, we got that baked into the library. So we've got a reduced motion setup in GSAP. And it's nice and easy to use, but whether you're using like GSAP or CSS or whatever it is, my rule tends to be if it's big swiping parallax motion, or if it's completely decorative, then turn it off. If it's something like a motion that users need to complete something important UI-wise, so like a menu animation opening, you don't want to turn that off because then the menu wouldn't open, so you need to fast forward that. And then like little contextual animations, you can keep them. So like loading states, like anything that's kind of giving users some feedback on something that they're doing.
Okay. And maybe the last one, as the time is nearing the end. What was the most complex animation you ever had to design, and what was that, and what was so complex or difficult about it?
Oh.
Like maybe most time-consuming or most, I don't know, challenging.
Oh, actually, yeah. The most challenging one was a charity site for a company that were trying to get, it's very obscure, trying to get funding for conservation of seagrass. I didn't even know that seagrass was a thing. Seagrass is apparently, it grows in the ocean, and it like helps a lot with global warming. And they were trying to conserve all of these big beds of seagrass. But they wanted the website to have fronds of seagrass that as you scrolled, like with the scroll velocity, the seagrass like waved like it was underwater. that was very, very intense to do. I tried so many different ways, and they were all terrible for performance, and eventually used shaders for it. But yeah, it took me probably 10 times longer than I estimated, but it was a lot of fun. I made no money off it.
Okay, well, sometimes it's just the fun that counts, right? Well, thank you so much for being with us, Cassie. And
Thank you very much, everybody.
fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And